So when I was a teenager, I did entertainment wrestling, and one of the interesting things about wrestling is that you create a character. You take certain parts of yourself and you turn the volume up on them, and you become more dramatic, more confident, louder, more expressive. And honestly, I think there can be something really healthy about that. Sometimes performance gives us permission to access parts of ourselves that we normally keep contained. The problem isn't the character. The problem is when you start forgetting where the character ends and you begin. When you can't really, take it off anymore. And I've been thinking about that with this Leo solar eclipse. So Leo gets connected to performance, visibility, pride, creativity, recognition, wanting to be seen. And then we hear people talking about the shadow traits of Leo. Arrogance, jealousy, attention seeking, needing to feel special. But I keep getting stuck on the wording of that. Shadow means something we can't clearly see in ourselves, or have something we haven't actually been able to fully own. And sometimes that is an uncomfortable trait. Sometimes the work is realizing, oh, I actually do need a lot of validation, or I become defensive when I don't feel recognized, or maybe I have a hard time seeing someone else shine because some part of me feels threatened by it. That can absolutely be a shadow, but it can go the other way too. Maybe the person who seems to love attention bothers you because you don't give yourself permission to be seen. And maybe you're very quick to call someone arrogant because being openly proud of yourself makes you uncomfortable. Maybe you've learned to make yourself smaller and then call that humility, and that can be shadowy too. And this is the part why I like studying astrology. I'm not an astrologer, I'm learning. And one of the ways I learn anything is by actually using it in my own life. I can read something 10 times, but when I start watching how an archetype shows up in me and the people around me and the things I'm experiencing, then I start to understand it differently. It becomes less about memorizing what Leo means and more about asking, what does this actually bring up in me? And lately I've been thinking about Leo and performance through health and fitness too. So I earned my IFBB Pro card in bodybuilding. I powerlifted. I've trained in a lot of different ways, and now yoga is a huge part of what I do. And something I've basically seen in every fitness space is how quickly a certain practice can become an identity. Bodybuilders can dismiss CrossFit. People who lift can act like cardio is pointless, diminishing your gains. Other people think yoga doesn't count as training. Boy, they don't know. People get very loyal to the thing they identify with. And I've done this, in my past in certain areas. And at one point, I bought into things like not training abs because I didn't want to make my waist thicker. But eventually you have to ask, am I making decisions based on what my body actually needs? Or am I making decisions based on the identity that I'm trying to maintain? Because your body doesn't care what category you belong to. It needs strength. It needs cardiovascular fitness. It needs mobility. And it needs recovery. And it needs nourishment. It needs you to actually be able to feel what is happening inside of it. That's where this Leo piece becomes so interesting to me. Leo is ruled by the sun. And astrologically, the sun is connected with vitality, life force, and our sense of self. Solar energy is also commonly connected with the solar plexus. Confidence, will, agency, personal power. So when I think about Leo, I don't only think about wanting attention. I think about our relationship with being alive, how much life we actually are allowing ourselves to experience. And that brings me right back into the body. There is a difference between training because you love feeling strong and training because your worth has become attached to maintaining a certain body. There's a difference between taking measurements because they give you useful information and letting a measurement determine how you actually feel about yourself on that particular day. And there's a difference between discipline and being so rigid that you stop listening to yourself. And performance isn't the enemy either. I loved bodybuilding. I loved getting on stage. There can be something amazing about performance. The question is whether I know that I am performing or whether I need the performance to tell me who I am. Can I be proud of something I've accomplished without needing to be better than everybody else? Can I enjoy being seen without depending on being seen? Can I take up space without needing somebody else to take up less? And can I also recognize the places where I've made myself smaller because being visible felt comfortable? That's what I find so interesting about shadow work. It isn't just, what are my negative traits? It's, what am I not seeing? Because sometimes what I can't see is a behavior I need to take responsibility for. And sometimes what I can't see is a part of myself that I've never given myself permission to have. Confidence, pride, visibility, play, power, even the desire to be celebrated. And I think this Leo eclipse gives us a really interesting opportunity to get curious about that. So I created a free Leo Eclipse Shadow Inquiry guide with 7 questions to help you explore it for yourself. If you want one, DM me the word eclipse and I'll send it to you.